We are live, and if the world were to be destroyed, that'd be a bummer because there's a bunch of cool stuff here.
There was a lot of cool items.
Yeah, a lot of interesting knickknacks that would be no more, and books with somebody put a lot of effort into crafting that world. And things like backgammon and chess and Scrabble and
Scrabble's a whole universe in itself.
I love Scrabble so much, and it's endlessly amusing and entertaining. And my sister is so good, and my father is such a conniving. He taught us how not to be in life by the way he plays Scrabble.
How do you mean?
He will ask for our good graces to do something clearly illegal, and he will just, oh God, you have to see it. You have to see what he does. He just there's this really dishonest, and now me and my sister will play him. Often we'll have a triad game of me, my sister, my dad, and he would very, very much like to win. And just to observe that, if like we're both adults, me and my sister, and he was once our like North Star of ideal human, was our father, and we were children. And he really wants to win. It would really give him a lot of neurochemical reward to win. And he wants that. And he's willing to lie.
And if the world ended, none of that would be possible. There'd be no deceit, no lying, no fun. Everything would be gone. All these books. I'm looking at these books. The Rising Sign by Gene Avery. I've never heard of that book, but if the world ended, it would all be gone. All the characters, all the backstory.
I see it. Khalil Gibran.
Oh, yeah.
There. See Owsley and Me, My LSD Family.
Where are we?
We are in my new home, or where I will be living for at the very least the month of August of 2021. We are in Southwest Detroit, and I like it here a lot. I just moved in last night, and there are so many great books laying around that I have been told that I may read. That's exciting. I haven't been much of a reader in my life, as far as like the good old fashioned analog cracking a book. I haven't really actually done too much of that. I'm a lot of audiobook and listening to a lot of lectures. That might be a little bit of the COVID brain fog still happening, or maybe I'm just slurring my words like a normal human being. But I recently had COVID and was super word slurry, brain foggy just a bit ago. But anyway, I have not spent much time between ages 0 and 27 sitting staring at text on a rectangle. Did you? Have you?
Yes. I used to be the kid that would hide under the covers and read the Harry Potter book, but then, I don't know, internet happened, video games happened, and I still have that kind of personality where I'll just be on my phone all night and not go to bed. But now it's a glowing thing instead of a normal paper thing.
Do you sleep often?
I've been sleeping more. I've been sleeping more because I've been getting up earlier, because that's when the best clubhouse rooms happen. Early in the morning.
But this okay, so there is a little bit more than a theory that it would be best if we slept 8 hours per night.
That's what the scientists say. That's what everyone says, 8 hours a night. But I remember watching a commercial once for a sleep aid, I think. And in that commercial, they kept on saying 6 hours was all you needed. And I remember their little slogan, which was a better 6. I don't remember what the name of the drug was, but it was just like so and so, like a better 6. Like
you don't need to get any old 8. What you need is a better 6.
Yeah, all you need is 6 good hours.
I'm in line with that, and I'm like, okay, so what if you were, because like, what would be a better sleep? 5 hours comfortable and in deep REM with 3 hours of a cat kneading your chest, which can be pleasant, but for some
Very.
people, I miss that.
I mean, it sounds like what you're describing is the perfect night's sleep. 5 hours of restfulness, and then you wake up to having your chest kneaded.
Yeah.
And then you just relax there and just let it happen for 3 hours.
These things, there's things that like, I see the value of putting them on a pedestal of like, this is important. This is okay. So the moment you awake and the first thoughts you engage with, like that makes sense to me, to like really try to craft that. Yeah. Like, try not to have it so that you're waking up into like, oh shit, the world is oh my fucking God. Like, 'cause that's what doom scrolling. If you wake up and immediately start doom scrolling, it's like you're asking for it. You're asking for a bad
day. It sets the tone for the whole day.
But also, I don't want to get so reverent of that to the point where it's like I'm putting so much pressure on it. Like, okay, maybe you wake up and your phone goes bring, and you're immediately, because that usually is how it happens. I wish I would love if we could if we could all demand of each other, don't fuck with me for 3 hours every day. When I wake up, 3 hours before, don't present me with any obligation or any shit that you think is important.
Don't talk to me until I've had my coffee.
That is another thing. And let's go into that. Let's talk about drugs. Don't talk to me until I've had my coffee. That is on coffee mugs. I'm sure it's on shirts. Like, you can just say that, and that's mainstream. You're not a drug addict.
Can you say that about any other drug?
Don't talk to me until I've had my cocaine.
Don't talk to me until I've had my 5 dried grams.
Don't talk to me until I've had 5 dried grams of silent darkness, of psilocybin and silent darkness. Have you ever spelt psilocybin correctly on the first try? Try.
Not even in my head.
Try.
Psilocybin.
I would say Pscilobyn.
Slobin.
Shit. Psilocybin. Psilocybin. Did you notice that college professors pronounce things in their own special way, like as if it's
absolutely
just what you do?
I've got an example. If you're a normal person and you're not a professor or you're not an academic, then you talk about, oh, did you hear about the research that's being done?
Mm-hmm.
The scientists, they're doing great research. If you are actually engaged in that and you are one of the people doing that research, it's not research. It's research.
Research, yes. The garage. Yeah. No, there's things what's going on there?
It's an elitist thing.
There's this thing that if you're not careful, it's what it is to be clinically, societally stamped with insanity. But it is also a truism that like we are full of shit as a species. It is like part and parcel of what it is to be human, is that we are lying to each other and ourselves, and we are such little shysters, man.
Nobody knows what's going on. If you're using a word, then you've already missed the point of reality. Whether you call it research or research, it doesn't describe what it is. It doesn't describe what's really going on. You're just making a mouth sound and you're associating something with something else.
What's the alternative to making these mouth sounds at each other, though?
Just being and just letting things happen.
But then we wouldn't have the modern marvel of climate change. Like, we did that. We achieved this. this situation right now where we're like maybe verging on like inadvertently suiciding our species by trying to be the best and build the most stuff. Like we did what an accomplishment to have fucking this 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 earth that is like infinitely replenishing resources for almost ever, and we managed to at least convince ourselves that we fucked that up. I know many people who are convinced that we fucked it up, and I know others who would say like, "Oh, relax. It's like there's going to be some coastal cities that are going to flood, and it's going to be, and it's all going to be. It's just quit taking in so much of that liberal media."
But even those people are acknowledging, yeah, the coastal cities are going to go under. It's going to happen.
Isn't it happening?
Yeah, it's happening. Think of all the living rooms that are being flooded. Think of all the books that are just going to be underwater.
Soggy books.
Soggy books. There's nothing worse than a soggy book. You ever try to read a soggy book?
I want to write a book called Soggy Books that is my prediction of how climate catastrophe unfolds.
You should style it so that each page is like more and more. It's like darker.
Soggy. Yeah. Yeah.
It looks soggy. Don't have it actually be soggy.
And there's scratch and sniff elements.
Whatever happened to scratch and sniff? When was the last time you had a scratch and you scratched and sniffed anything?
You know, I might have an answer to this. When I was COVIDated and I didn't have smell and taste, which is right now I don't have. It's still very much coming back. But I heard LSD helps with that, which I'm going to run that experiment soon. But I've been smelling things that I know smell intensely, and wow, is it bizarre? Nothing. And I would spicy food, nothing.
What kind of like things have you been testing with the smells?
Sage.
Sage.
That stuff smells really particular, and some people say it's spiritually special.
What cannabis?
Yeah, nothing.
I feel like I smell it right now.
I don't.
There's no cannabis in this house, yet somehow I smell it.
No, this is like a really drug-free home. Not to call cannabis a drug, excuse me, shamanic medicine. Or what are we saying these days? Sizeha says, I'm not going to read that out loud. Fuck. That's you see what that says?
Where are these people coming from?
They're on a site called Twitch, where I notice whenever I stream to Twitch, there's people who comment that want me to be like interacting with the chat because
what did somebody say there? Somebody said something about my blue shirt. Scroll down a little bit.
It says, "Can I lick your beard and stroke your hairy penis?"
That's probably for you.
Okay. Guy on the right hates. Okay, fuck off.
Your right or my right?
Do you guys read chat? See, and that's the thing. Maybe part of me wants to say, okay, I will no longer stream it to Twitch because there's this idea that we're going to interacting with the chat. I'm not into that at all.
I love it.
I'm not.
Trolls, come one, come all. Please entertain us. Even while we're entertaining you, you entertain us.
That to me is a strange, silly practice to because the idea the idea that I get from it is that it's like acknowledge me, and it's like, what do you do that when you're watching a movie? Like, do you when you go to Netflix, do you just like shout at it, be like, make eye contact with me? No, I'm here watching you.
Yeah, the actors. Yeah.
Fuck. It's like when people applaud at the end of a movie in the theater. You know,
who are you applauding for?
The director's not in the room. Sometimes they are.
Maybe the person who works at the movie theater is gonna pass it on to the movie studio that, oh, Theater 13 clapped really, really hard at that movie, and then that eventually gets to the director.
So lean into that. You know what? Okay. I want to talk about a thing about art that is. This is part of my world making, like this. The Hobbit films. are so bad. They are so bad. And the final season of Game of Thrones was so bad. It's not just a failure. Like there's a formulaic catastrophe that happens when, especially when artists who actually were making art at one point then are trying to fulfill um a need and like do that again. Oh, that worked. That sold a bunch. Do that again, but better. Like the Battle of Five Armies, the third Hobbit. I mean, those are really bad. Like if I have a friend who edited the Star Wars prequels to like just removed a lot of the dumb and did some things with like subtitles and like he was able to make it so that it is they are good.
So
like his edits are good. But
okay,
I was going to say the Hobbit films, but those 3 2-hour or so movies, like there's a half hour of good in all of that.
so I was gonna say because I've watched Lord of the Rings.
Amazing.
I've read Lord of the Rings and I've read The Hobbit, but I've not seen the Hobbit movies.
Don't.
I thought because The Hobbit is one book they made 3 movies out of it, it would be good because they actually included all the detail from the book.
No.
Is that not the case? Did they?
No.
Did they still skip over like important details?
No, they did bunch of stuff. Okay, here's the thing. I had a friend, and she and her brother were huge Tolkien heads, like super grew up on Lord of the Rings, the books, and loved the movies. And her brother got to work on the Hobbit films. It was an animator role or something like that. Anyway, she tells me that there was a night where he calls her like really somberly and a little drunk. And it's like, we're all out at the bar, me and like the, animation team or whatever. And we're all calling our families to tell them, don't see this. It's bad.
So there was a moment that they all collectively decided we should inform our families not to see this movie.
Like they knew it was bad. And you can see when you're watching it, this is not. It's so bad. It's so bad. And I know that that's not an objective thing, but sometimes it kind of is. Like the Game of Thrones, and all they had to do was land that ship in a way that it seemed like there was someone trying to, like, it almost seemed as if like some Illuminati board meeting was like, this series is really inspiring people really are liking this Game of Thrones thing, like they're getting excited, they're being humans, it's setting their souls on fire, like we need to make sure that it ends in such a blue ballsy fucking such a depressingly awful way. And not depressingly, like, because what I wanted for the Game of Thrones to end, I wanted it to end as a cautionary tale. I wanted the very last frame to be snow falling on the Iron Throne, and it to send a message to humanity that, yeah, here's a scenario where if these humans could have worked together, they could have saved the world, but they couldn't unite, so they all died. But that's it. It ended in the least. It was awful. What the fuck were those ravens doing? What the fuck was that?
Haven't seen it. Not going to. And I appreciate an anti-recommendation more so than the recommendation.
Do you mean that you're not going to see any Game of Thrones, or you're not going to watch it to the end?
I'm probably just not going to watch it at all.
Oh,
well, I don't want to be disappointed.
You should watch season 1 through 4.
But more so as it relates to like The Hobbit. It's like, as if you recommend somebody watch something, then they have to do 2 things. They have to sort of play along with the recommendation because they know nothing about it, but the person's like raving about it. So you have to just sort of go along with it. Oh yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, that's a labor in itself. And then you have to watch the thing. But if someone's recommending you, do not watch this, that's it. Cool, I won't watch it. I appreciate that.
I'm sure there's some circumstances where somebody's saying, I hated this, don't watch it. And I'm like, oh, that means it must be fucking good because you're an asshole. But,
it kind of depends who the person is. If you trust somebody's taste and they say don't watch something, then I probably won't watch it. But then Like for example, I just watched this Fantastic Fungi. Great film. There's a scene in it with Paul Stamets, the mycologist, and he's talking about how he sort of got into mushrooms and stuff, and he's talking about his friend. His friend gave him a book about altered states of consciousness, which he loved it and he really interested. And then he gave it to a friend of his, and then his friend's father burns that book. He burned the book about altered states, and Paul Stamets says, like, I have so much gratitude for my friend's father for burning that book because that completely galvanized my interest in altered states. And I thought, if this is so this is causing somebody to do something so outrageous as to burn a book, then there must be something here. And then that sort of triggered him into having this lifelong interest in mushrooms and fungi and altered states.
Yeah, what is it with the rebelliousness thing? Like I have been it strikes me sometimes. What the fuck happened in the early 2000s where there was so much gothiness? There was just so much. There were so many kids self mutilating in a very performative way. I was one of those. I've got little scars here. I was, and that wasn't actually a mental health crisis. That was showing off.
Just trying to be cool.
There was, I mean, it wasn't like I did it publicly, but it was very, it wasn't authentic depression. Authentic depression didn't kick in until my late 20s. That was me. That was me, my being me.
Yeah, but why? Yeah, why was there that particular period in the early 2000s? We have like depressive. We have a depressive generation now, but it's different.
Are they? I don't. I don't know too many teenagers right now.
There's sort of social media people that are all depressed and like self-conscious and yeah, because now with social media, everything is shown. You get to see everyone else's life, and you get to compare yourself to everybody else.
That sucks. Are they like super macabre for the sake of macabre about it though? Is there like a lot of I don't follow nor am I connected to a lot of teenagers right now.
It's not really macabre. It's more like an ironic, like
are they misanthropic as fuck?
I'd say so.
That makes sense. I mean, it's like
none of us know how to deal with other people.
But now, and this is probably very biased of me, but like I perceived the moment that I was in to be extremely boring when I was a teenager. Like this world is so boring. There's just layers of stability. This is so boring. I want to die.
And then, what got you out of that? What made you realize the world's not boring?
Shit got crazy. Shit's pretty crazy right now.
Right now, yes.
I would say that shit is actually, but then again, it might be super biased. It's like, is this par for the course? Is this just par for the course? This is like the thing where there's constantly a huge fire on planet Earth. Has that always been? Has the ocean always been on fire, and there's always some Mordorian scene of apocalyptic fucking.
I don't know, but there's always been something, whether it's a war or a genocide or a fire in the ocean. There's always been something going awry, and it just seems like more and more of that's happening more rapidly. But it could just be that we're more aware of it.
There's always been a genocide.
There's always been something. People are always killing people.
Less and less, right?
I think so.
Like that graph looks like this, right? Like right.
I don't know. I haven't seen this graph.
According to the Stephen Pinkerton.
Oh, he provides a graph. That's that guy's thesis, right? Steven Pinker is that like it's like we're doing well, right?
We're waking up from the nightmare of history, pretty much. That we're that if things continue to go just with the math and statistics, that we're on our way to world peace.
History is the nightmare I'm trying to awake from. I think that was James Joyce, actually.
What do you think about the replacement theory versus the interbreeding theory of why there are no missing links? Like, why aren't there Neanderthals and Denisovans amongst us? Like, do you think that the humans wiped them out or had kids with them?
I think
Maybe a bit of both.
yeah, a bit of both. Because clearly we survived while the Neanderthals didn't. It could be that we were a little bit smarter. We were able to beat them all into a pulp.
They were more fit. They had more physical, like they're in stature. Like they would win a fist fight, but
Yeah.
they didn't cooperate as well. So you could outsmart them.
Right. And they used tools, right? But we had better tools. We had better tool making abilities.
But I mean, what beats cooperation? I mean, like 12 people teaming up on you, no matter how flimsy and pathetic they are as individuals. If they team up, like you're fucked.
And it's really the group that evolves more so than the individual. Like I think that our culture is evolving way more rapidly if you think about collective humans and what we've been able to accomplish versus just a single person. Their brain, their body hasn't really changed much. There was a period in history where our brain sort of tripled in size, and no one really knows why. And there's a lot of theories about that we can talk about. Stone Gate theory is obviously a favorite of ours, but yeah, it's besides that we are still kind of the same. This flesh body isn't really suitable for this world that we inhabit. It seems like our body shouldn't really exist at this point.
Well, isn't that why we're phasing it out?
Yeah, I just think that we're doing that, but we're doing that almost too quickly. And at some point, we're going to realize, why do we have these bodies? It's just taking up time and resources. We have to feed ourselves. We have to sleep. That's 6 hours. That's 6 good hours that we can't dedicate to computing and processing information.
You want to get that good 6.
I guess so. I mean, only for the reason that we need it for our brain.
Have you ever tried not to sleep? You ever ran that experiment?
It's
awful.
No, I've done like a little like one of those all-nighter marathons, like for like a school thing, but I've never just challenged myself to stay up.
I went to Burning Man several years in a row, and I would like to say I've learned my lesson that you just can't not sleep. You will pay for it direly. And I have experienced states of consciousness that are, I mean, where I'm in heaven on earth scenario, and my brain is turning on me, and I would just don't try it. If you can sleep, do. If you are having insomniac problems, that is a problem and it needs to be addressed. You need to sleep. It gets so bad. It's one of the worst feelings I've ever experienced. There's a lot of reasons why I don't think I would be good at war, but that's a big one.
When you go to Burning Man or another festival, how do you actually sleep? Is it like you sleep because you're forced to because your body's like, we are sleeping now? Or are you ever in your tent struggling to fall asleep?
Oh, I struggle, and I've realized that is the we use this phrase "wasted my time," and sometimes, most of the time, I think we're saying it. And it's like, what are you saying? Wasted your time? Like when people say it about it's like we had that 5-year relationship and then it ended. I wasted my time with you. It's like, what do you mean wasted time? You had this whole thing happen with this person. Come on, that's a thing. Like, what do you mean? Something is a waste of time because it doesn't go on forever. But like trying to fall asleep, that's a waste of time.
Yeah, because it never works. Saying I'm gonna fall asleep, thinking about falling asleep, it never works.
Stupid. It's the worst.
But what's crazy is that I've slept almost every single night of my life, and I just don't know how I do it. It just happens.
Me neither. Yeah. What is the deal there? I mean, sometimes you can really feel it coming on. It's like, oh, this is happening. But it's almost like the same thing as dreaming. That's the same thing that with like when I'm lucid dreaming. As soon as I realize I'm lucid dreaming, it's like, oh, dude, I'm doing this. Ah, there it goes. But and there's times where it's like, oh my god, I'm totally falling asleep. This is great. All I have to do is let it happen, and then it's like, like fucking 3 hours.
Yeah. No. It reminds me of a song. It goes, remember, you are dreaming. Remember, 'tis a dream.
Yes. Do you think that reality is some kind of movie that is being projected from out of your fucking head? Like, what's going on here? What is this? What is reality? What's really going on here?
I don't have a clue, but I'm happy with that. I'm fine not knowing. I still like to learn things, and that's what excites me. It's the fact that there's no downside to really not caring what's going on. Like you're not going to be punished for not worrying too much about what's going on. Then again, you can learn, and it's always exciting because reality is so complicated.
Mhm.
You can just continue to learn, and it'll always be interesting because there's always more to learn. But then there's so much to learn, you can get overwhelmed. So that's why I kind of have this dual thing of like I like to investigate and ask questions and get answers to them, but at the same time I know that there is no ultimate truth, and I'm perfectly happy just being a person. Well, I'd like to say that sometimes I'm sitting there by myself and I'm like, okay, what's the point? Like, why am I doing this? But other times it's like, that's fine. Just existing is perfectly fine.
I existed really thoroughly today. Like I all I did. All I did. Ooh, is it seems like our friend Sanjana may be able to join.
Dropping in.
Please do. You know what? Okay, here's a question that I have about this reality thing. It's really important to me sometimes. It strikes me that it's like if there is an actual thing that is like morality and like an importance to my doing my best to like have a positive impact on the world, then shit, it's really important that I answer that question first, because if that's important, then I'm gonna make a real effort there. But if that's fucking total nonsense and it's entirely a wild goose chase, because reality is just this dreamscape thing that it's like I had the option to do anything, and I spent my time trying to fix stuff with a super egoic, super me centric, mega biased idea of what it would be for things to be better. You know, like I I have difficulty having opinions now because I see others what they do when they have opinions, and it's often incredibly not mutual, their idea of what it would be to fix stuff and have people live better. And I don't want to be the guy trying to help you live better by my idea of what the fuck that means, you know?
Yeah, I don't believe in having opinions or philosophies. I just have takes. I have little takes here and there. Oh, that movie was good. Oh, that food is bad. I think that's worth having because that is relevant to your immediate experience or your memory, your recent memories or something. But having an opinion on whether communism is better than capitalism, unless you're making changes, unless you're writing laws, why does it matter that your opinion needs to be let everyone needs to know?
Hello.
Angela,
Hi, just putting in the these on.
Oh, the wonders of technology.
and
I'm
just like
still
that, we
getting.
got new people.
How are you doing? How's everything going?
We're living
I
our
just woke
lives.
up.
Oh,
Sorry?
did we wake you?
Not really. Actually, my brother woke me up.
Those do that.
Did he wake
Yeah.
up with his Dota 2 playing?
Oh yeah, actually, yes. He was screaming at someone, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And then I woke up, and I was like, "Oh my god, Jake and Zachary!" And then I was like looking at my phone, and then I was like, "Okay, I have to get up, and then I'll try to drop in real quick." And then I changed and everything.
I knew about that, by the way, that he plays Dota 2 because like he's on Clubhouse, right? And I went to his bio and it says Dota 2 player. I was like, okay, that's interesting. And I went to go see which clubs he follows, and it's literally 5 clubs that are just all called Dota 2 Club. It's so funny that it's literally
what the hell is that? What does that mean? What are you talking about?
So Dota 2, I think, is a game. I think my brother might be able to explain it better than me. But yeah, he's really into the EA Sports and the EA Sports arena, and he really wants to pursue gaming. Like really wants to pursue gaming. And so he wants to kind of like get into like these teams that these people make, and get into tournaments, and then win those tournaments. Like I try to understand as much as possible about the dynamics of the game, but I think he really just wants to become an actual Dota player and like pursue that.
Yeah, no, esports are interesting now because they're basically like real sports in the sense that like for anyone off the street could become a professional esports player with, you know, roughly the same chances as becoming like an actual professional sports player. It's not necessarily harder to become an esports player. It might even be easier. I mean, there's you don't have those I guess physical obstacles. Like you need hand-eye coordination, you need intelligence, obviously. But yeah, it's not like being like a football player. You don't have to run like 20 miles a day. You don't have to do that stuff. You could just thing and then do
Yeah. But I see like how much like effort he actually puts in. It's crazy. Like even with virtual gaming, he was showing me like this documentary last night about EA Sports players and how they live their lives. They literally spend like 30 hours just like playing like endlessly, like trying to like win this game. It's because the way he was trying to explain to me, like the game, the way it's structured, it's very dynamic. So apparently, it changes. Like the characters are changing, the characters are involving, so it's not like a closed thing where you just know, okay, this is the way you have to play the game and you win it. It's very dynamic, so it's like an ever-changing game, so that's why it kind of requires a lot of decision making, critical thinking, and stuff like that. So yeah, he spends like a lot of time gaming all the time. I see him putting in a lot of effort, like all night, all day, crazy. And yeah, and he sees me reading, doing the exact opposite. So it's kind of a weird dynamic that me and my brother have. Yeah.
Reading is the opposite of playing video games?
It seems like that. I feel like he's like kind of like my like opposite. Like I feel like he's like my exact opposite, but like somehow we still are the same in a weird way. I don't know. That's just the way siblings work. It's just so weird.
I feel like setting fire to barns is the opposite of reading. Like just finding old, dry, like 19th century barns in middle America and setting them ablaze.
Favorite pastime.
That's like the exact opposite of what it is to be cracking a book, just sitting reading a book.
So how's the conversation been so far, and where are you guys, and explain what's been going on? Oh, that's beautiful. It's really well structured and well put house.
Yeah, whoever like set this up,
there's a lot of knickknacks here.
They really like, yeah, they're like, okay, that's gonna go there, and that's gonna go there, and that's gonna go there. They had all these pictures. They're like, they needed to arrange them, and they did a really good job. And it's such a homey home. It's so homey. I said this when I first entered. I'm like, this is a homey home.
I love it here. I love it here. And but I messed up. I messed up again, but it's okay because we're gonna do this often. I bloody didn't have our audio wasn't going the whole time we were talking. It just recently began, but it's okay. It's okay. No, this is a really important thing. This is a really important thing.
I love it.
I have to go get the charger because this is if not. But this is okay. This is a really important thing. I'm really on this kick lately of what somebody said, that like the point of being human is to stop seeking perfection. Like that's the whole deal of the human experience, is you're not going for perfection. It's something other than perfection. I'm gonna go grab
If it suits you, I actually kind of like knocked down water on my dad's newspaper just to hurry up to just set this up thing. So even I'm kind of chaotic at the moment. It's all good. It's all good. Even I'm gonna get a charger so this doesn't die. Actually.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to? Okay, it'll just be me in the
No. Just it's right here. The charger. Just have to
Oh, okay.
plug it in. Otherwise, if it dies, then another problem.
Zachary says we're gonna restart. I want to read the Twitch comments. You guys read. Oh man, these are great. Blue shirt started. How did you know? Shit his fucking pants. Yeah, that's what that means. Yes, I'm bored. No, show yourself your own penis. Back in blood.
Yep. Should we tell people that this is being broadcasted, by the way?
What we're gonna do is we're gonna restart.
I'm reading the comments.
I'm gonna send you a new link in 12 seconds. Okay, we're gonna restart.
Okay,
Right.
amazing. That sounds great. Should we share it? Should we actually make people
Yeah.
aware that we're doing it together?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Great.
Okay.
Cool.
I'm gonna send you the new link.